So, this is the second week of Anthropocene journey, and we have planned a workshop for you today. And I had sent out an email this morning regarding the workshop. And so it's 2.5 hours long, and I hope that you stay for the duration of the 2.5 hours. It's important because we're going on a sort of an emotional journey, and it's important for you to, once you're in, to go through it so that you're ready to go out. Not that it's really intense or whatever, not to scare you in the beginning, but just to say that just to complete it and then leave. Joy had asked that are we planning breakouts today? Yes, we will have breakout rooms and small sharing sessions, and also because the group is also quite small right now, we might have sharing in the big circle as well. Shayantoni, would you like to add something?
Just there will be a bio break after about an hour 15 minutes. So there will be time to get a snack and go to the washroom. But yeah, otherwise, I would really love if everyone could stay the entire time. We have a wonderful journey prepared, and we are just excited to go on it with you. And Lakshmi, welcome back.
Yeah, she just had to do something with her earphones, but I hope, yeah, you can hear us now, Lakshmi. Okay, great. So I would love to start with just a moment of silence. Just to begin, just take a moment in silence, and when you feel ready, open your eyes. And when you feel ready, come back into the circle. Supriya has joined us. Hi, Supriya, welcome. So we thought we'd start with giving you an introduction, of course, of both of us who are holding this space for you today, and also of the work that reconnects, on which this workshop is based on, where it comes from, what we know, what is the intention of this work, and all of that, and our own journeys with it. So, Shantoni, would you like to start?
Yes. Hi, everyone. It's really, thank you so much for being here today with us. My name is Shayantoni Ghosh. I live in Hyderabad, but I'm originally from Kolkata. Um, uh, Work that reconnects found me in 2019 first through an interview as part of a global summit of Joanna Macy, who's the root teacher. And the next year, in 2020, I signed up for the facilitation development program, and I've been facilitating workshops online ever since. My interest in the work that reconnects comes from just always being extremely highly sensitive to the natural world. And I've been raised only in cities. So, and I very deeply feel that disconnect from the natural world. And I've always felt a lot of pain about it. But it's only when I found the work that reconnects that I understood there is a language to speak of when we talk about our grief for the natural world and even for interpersonal societal problems. I've really been enjoying my time facilitating the work, and I'm excited to really just do it in big and creative ways all over India. Other than that, I am a writer, I am a theater maker, and one fun fact is I'm currently working on a rap album. So, yeah, just for fun, because why not? So that's me. Lakshmi.
Thank you. So most people here know me. So I feel a little bit awkward introducing myself, but there's a couple who don't. So my name is Lakshmi, and I run this project called Inner Climate Academy from Auroville in South India. And this workshop is part of a program that ICA is running through this month of November and December. Um, so I got introduced to the work that reconnects quite early on in my life, a long time ago. And I was a very young, angry activist at that time, very angry with the world and didn't know what to do with my anger. And mind you, this was a time before it became such a big thing. I think there are more spaces now to talk about what's happening with the world than it was then. And so when in my first workshop that I attended, I could cry. I could cry for how what I felt for the world, and I realized that a lot of my anger was actually grief and sadness. I just didn't know how to or where to share that. So I found community in that workshop. I found a space to share what's going on inside me, and I found fellow human beings who felt the same. And that was a gift, and I wanted to continue to bring that gift back into the world. So I got trained as a facilitator very quickly on, and started my journey of facilitation. And that was a long time ago, and I've had phases where I was doing it a lot, phases where I would take a break and got burned out. I picked up many different facilitation skills along the way, and my own work in the environment sector, ranging from educator to running big environmental projects to running community projects and environmental leadership courses, and all of that was also informing this work, but they remained in very separate spheres of my life that never intervened, because for the longest time, serious environmental work does not talk about emotions or inner work, and they remain separate. And then so I guess, to cut the long story short, so what I'm doing now is to bring those worlds together. And I think more than any time in human history, we are ready for it. We have reached a place where, whether it's climate or the biodiversity crisis or the economic crisis, you name it, whatever crisis that you feel called to, have brought us to that place where we know that we need to do something more than just find solutions and do it. Because if that could change the world, it would have long time back. So I find that, personally for me, I find that spaces are opening up for bringing both the inner and the outer world together. And I'm really enjoying that space where I can talk about everything that I'm passionate about, because I'm also passionate about actions and making change collectively and all of that. And at the same time, the inner work is important and how they can flow into each other. So I hold this space with that intention. And one fun fact about me, um, I like reading detective novels. Like, it could be just a who done it, that sort of, I like to do that. Um, yeah. So I see that Radhika's here. Welcome, Radhika.
Hi, hi.
We just begun. I was just doing introductions.
Oh, okay. I thought I was late. Yeah.
Okay. So, would anyone like to know a bit more about work that reconnects more than what we have said? Because we had thought that we would give a little bit of an introduction to the work. I see some nods.
I think I'd be interested in knowing where they sit with right now, like maybe some updates about what they are up to.
Yeah, Shayantoni, you're best placed.
Yeah, I can help with that because I'm a staff member with the Work That Reconnects network. So at the moment, we have a lot going on. A, we are updating our website, which is taking a long. B, we are in the process of opening, or rather, understanding how to open a more regional hubs for the work. So far, because of, I mean, it's been rather Eurocentric and North America centric, but now we have a lot of facilitators coming up in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and kind of this part of the world. So there's a lot of internal conversation happening about how we can decentralize work that reconnects, so to say. In addition to that, we always have always have a lot of programs happening for the facilitators who are registered facilitators with the network. We organize a lot of webinars and conversation cafes about like themes and topics around the work, a lot of activism, spirituality, practical spirituality, and things like that. And actually, all of the staff, which is me plus 3 other women and a couple of other people on the board, we are studying in a year-long course about worker self-directed non-profit kaise banana, like just everything that goes into becoming a non-profit. So at the moment, the network is not a fully recognized non-profit. It's part of a non-profit. So we are just learning for ourselves. It's a 1-year intensive course, and the entire staff is really, we are all brushing up our skills and our knowledge. And for some people, like I am new to this work, I am new to activism work proactively. So it's really helpful for me. I'm understanding a lot of theory as well as practicing it while holding space. It's been a lot of. I think we should be ready with the website by February, inshallah. But that takes so long. And next year, we are talking about organizing a global summit, so to speak. And we are also talking about how to celebrate Joanna Macy's passing when she transitions. So that's what we've been up to.
Thank you. I just would like to add to that is that from the outside, what I have seen is that there's a focus on decolonial work, how to make the work a bit more focused on decolonial relating and relatability, and also on trauma-informed facilitation. These are 2 aspects that I have seen as new from before. And for those of you who don't know too much about the work, I'll give a very short introduction to it. So the whole body of work right now, it's open source and it has people who have made it their own in many ways, including myself. But I had sent you links to the website. So that whole body of work keeps evolving and is what it is right now. But it was started by this American Buddhist philosopher, Joanna Macy, who is in her late 90s at the moment, still going very strong. But she started, the seeds of this work started very early on, I think, in the 60s and the 70s, where she was deployed as a Green Corps community worker in Dharamsala in India and many other parts of the world where she was trying to work with community. And I think the work is very much influenced by Tibetan Buddhism because she's also very, she's a Buddhist philosopher and has written books on Buddhism as well. And I think the one story that really stuck with me is her experience in Chernobyl after the accident took place. She was there to work with the community, to rebuild. And what she realized was that this was way before trauma-informed community work existed. So, that the community wasn't ready to start acting and doing things and building their villages back. They were still in shock. And they had funerals for the humans that had passed, but they did not they had not created the space for mourning everything else that had passed. And they were still in spaces where they could see the charred forest, elm trees charred, for as far as the eyes could see. And she came to the conclusion that that they needed to co-create rituals wherein the community can come and mourn the loss of the more than human around them. And she stayed there and she co-created rituals with the community that included circle dances and sharings and mask making and all these different ways of acknowledging the loss that they had gone through. And I think from that experience, it really struck with her that there's a bit more to rebuilding or regenerating what has been lost. And I think at some point she met Arne Ness, the deep ecologist, and his work influenced her a lot. And they also started working together. And she also came to the conclusion that this loss that communities have been going through, that she's witnessed, there is a bigger loss that's happening, and a bigger death or a bigger grief that we are all carrying at some point, which is the global degradation of the ecological systems that keeps us alive. So the question that she often asks is, if we are interconnected, how can we not grieve the death around us?
Maria would like you to repeat her name.
Yeah, it's Joanna Macy. Maria, are you on the email list? I have sent links to her work just so that you have it. And then she started developing these processes as community processes. Oh, Arne Ness. He's a philosopher, an environmental philosopher. And then so you can, it's open source, so please do visit the website and go through everything that's there. There are also videos that were in video cassettes before that has been uploaded onto YouTube, where Joanna herself explains the core exercises of the work. Those exercises have been further, it keeps evolving depending on who's doing it and how they're doing it, and there's no restriction to that. But the core of those exercises, the intention, why we're doing it and how we're doing it, why are we following the steps, she explains them. So it's available for everyone if you feel drawn to explore. Shayantoni, would you like to add a few more words to what I know I've just like.
Yeah, I think just some technical details. When the work that Reconnect started, it was started with the name of Despair and Empowerment work, because essentially those were the two ends of the emotional spectrum that they wanted to begin with. But of course, it has taken on many, many, many different variations and layers. And the more people get involved with it and bring their own experiences and preferences, it keeps evolving. What I really enjoy about the work that Reconnects is there is a story behind almost each and every process that has been used and that we still keep collating from all facilitators around the globe. just about one of my favorite processes in the work that reconnects is called the truth mandala. And I really love it because it's effective, but also um, it was brought into existence on the day of the unification of Berlin. And it happened on that day with a lot of different activists and students and artists and lots of different sorts of people in Berlin. And knowing the intensity of the process, it kind of gives me goosebumps to imagine that this was part of such a historical time. And I see a lot of potential and value in the work that reconnects, especially in India, especially in Southeast Asia, where we are incredibly emotional as a people. And yet, when it comes to really facing the emotions or talking about it or experiencing with community, there is not much, especially if you want to discuss something that is not the happiest thing ever. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what facilitators like Lakshmi and myself and a few other people in Asia are going to create and build with this work. I think when I started learning about it, I used to call it self-care for activists, but it's a lot more. It's that too. I think that's all.
Thank you. I'm also, just to add that at ICA, we are in the process of bringing this as part of climate resilience work in communities and developing that as part of inner resilience and community strength and relational well-being of communities at the moment. So watch this space.
So I was going to lead the group into a little process called the milling. But that would require everyone to keep their videos on. We wouldn't need to speak. You would just need to listen to my voice, but it is mandatory to have the video. Would that be possible for everyone in the room? Thank you. Rosa, is it possible to see you as well? Okay, hi. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Radhika. Okay, sure. Thank you. Sanjoli, take your time. Supriya and Joy, if you could let us know if, okay, great. And until then, I will request all of us to simply get situated, get comfortable in your seat or in your taxi. Yes, Joy? Okay. No, you.
I think he's left. It's okay. He was anyway going to leave early and wasn't sure. So
Okay, I see. All right. Okay.
Push the one man out.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for switching on your. Oh, Supriya's with. Thank you for everyone for switching your cameras on. I would request you to just get comfortable. Get comfortable in your seat. Allow yourself a few deep breaths. And while we are doing that, I would invite you all to keep the screen settings on gallery view so that everyone in the circle is visible to you. Okay. Now, while you're breathing deep, I invite you to just look at your screen. Look at everyone who's with you today, here. And I invite you to find one face in this sea of faces and direct all your attention towards. Remember that who you are looking at does not know that they are being looked at. And as you are seeing them, you are also being seen. I invite you to take a breath in honor of this knowing, in honor of the sacred act of witnessing the other in conscious community and in being witnessed yourself. Now, look at this person. Study their face. This person is alive on planet Earth at the same time as you, born into the same period of crisis, danger, beauty, and complexity. This person, exactly like you, is a sacred witness of life. They have chosen to be here today. There are hundreds of other things they could have been doing with this time, and they chose to be here, to look inwards, to exercise their creative power, and to heal. I want you to notice how you feel when you recognize that they have made the choice to be with you today, that we have collectively made this choice. Now, take a moment to honor this person with a nod, a bow, or a smile. Take a deep breath and allow your eyes to wander the screen before settling on another person. Take a breath and recognize that this person has faced immense, unspeakable hardship in their life. Take a second to acknowledge the pain they carry and all of its gifts. This person has a unique perspective on life. Honor it. As you bathe in the glow of this recognition, know that someone is bathing in your light. You are being seen. You are being recognized. Now, take a moment to honor this person with a nod, a bow, a smile. Allow your eyes to wander the screen before finding your third person. You are looking into the face of someone who has a very good clue about what's going on in our world. You are looking into the face of someone who is living with you in times of global unrest and unraveling. Perhaps they are struggling to get through the day. Perhaps they are clear about their path forward. Recognize that they are exactly where they need to be. And remember that you are too. Now, take a moment to honor this person's courage with a nod, a bow, or a smile. And moving on, we come to our last encounter. Pick a person and allow yourself to see something new in their face, something you didn't notice immediately when you came into the room. Allow your awareness to open to the very real possibility that this person is playing a pivotal role in the creation of a life-sustaining civilization, in the healing of our world, and in the healing of our community. This person has the gifts, the discipline, the tenacity, and the heart that it takes to do this work, just like you. Take a moment to honor this person with a nod, a bow, and a smile. Finally, allow your eyes to run over the entire screen. All of us in this space here have made multiple decisions which have brought us together. We give thanks to the algorithm that brought your attention to the workshop. We give thanks to every part of every last one of us who have decided to be here and to open your hearts. Thank you. One final deep breath together. And the milling comes to a close. Thank you very much. Take it away, Lakshmi.
Thank you, Shayantoni. I'm a bit of an old schooler. I've only done milling in person. This is the first time I'm doing it on screen. I'm just touched by it, so thanks. Mm-hmm. So before we move on to the, so what, if you had looked at the email that I had sent you, I had sent a spiral. So, we start with gratitude, we go into honoring our pain for the world, seeing with new eyes, and then going forth. So that's the kind of spiral that work that reconnects sort of holds itself through. And it can be a big spiral or a tiny one. Today we have a very tiny spiral. So before we move on to the next process, I just would like to read a poem that I'm sure many of you know and appreciate. It's Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. Calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Thank you. And now, because it's a small group, I'm feeling the need to hear from everyone. You've been listening very patiently. We can just go, one round. We can tag one another and just do a little sharing of how you are, and one thing that made you smile today. I can go first. I did a big introduction, so you know who I am. One thing that made me smile today was, just before the workshop, I was in many paces, and somehow I came together. And my colleague Sophie was here, and she had set up everything, and there was such gratitude in my heart for her being present here. So that made me smile. And Shayantoni came and everything worked out. I am tagging Supriya.
Thanks, Lakshmi. I was feeling a little tired today. Just wanted to finish off things before I joined this session. I joined a little late, so was a little upset. But now, being part of this group, I feel very much at peace, and I'm looking forward to the session. And what made me smile today was I was going through the email that was sent about the workshop, and the picture that Lakshmi just mentioned earlier about the roots and the leaves being a part of grieving or suffering, and then the flowers and so on. That sort of brought a smile to my face. Thank you. And I tag Shraddha.
You. Hi. So this is my second workshop with Lakshmi. So I'm happy to be back. The thing that made me smile today was I've just generally been having a very smiley day, but I think the thing that made me smile the most was the little maggots in my compost bin are doing great, and I was just happy to see them feeding off fine. Yeah. I'll pass it on to Lakshmi.
Hi everyone. So I think for me, the happiest moment or something that happened today, which made me smile, was I was at the hospital, and after our lunch, I bought 3 packets of ice cream with me on our way out of the hospital, and so when I was coming out with the ice cream, there was this little boy, and he was asking me, like, he was asking his dad, okay, dad, I want a piece of ice cream. And his dad was like, no, I'm not getting you. And so I went back and took another spoon from the counter and gave one of the ice creams to him. And he was so happy, like, and I was going back, so, and he came and hugged me from behind and said bye to me. So that was kind of very sweet. So that's something that made me very happy today. I tag Radhika.
Hi, glad to be here. One thing that made me smile today was just before this workshop, I was watching MasterChef Australia, and there was a contestant from Bangladesh, and she was speaking about her Bangladeshi food and the spices, and the way she was speaking was so passionate and emotional that just made me smile thinking about her and how she relates to food. So, yeah. I'll pass it on to Rosa.
Okay, thanks. Hi, yeah, I'm also very happy to be here. I feel a bit as if I stumbled into it because I've actually not joined through the algorithm, but through personal relations, and it still feels a bit weird to take it on the online step. And one thing that made me smile today was very early in the morning, I got visited by some birds, and they were making a great fuss because they would like to have some seeds because they're getting so used to being fed from some people. And yeah, it's just funny to see that they recognize you in different places throughout the community. And I tag Sanjali.
Hi, I'm Sanjoli. This is my first time here. I'm doing okay today. I'm doing good. One thing that made me smile, when I went out in the morning, I saw in my mother's garden new rosebuds are coming. So that made me smile. I tagged Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria. One thing that made me smile today was a close friend visited me. And I wasn't expecting it. And she really loves my cats, but she's also allergic to them. And she got so excited to see them that she forgot to ask me for the allergy pill until like her eyes and her nose were all like watering. And my cats were also so excited to see her that they completely exhausted themselves and now they're just sleeping nonstop on the bed right next to me. And I'm so happy to be talking about non-anthropomorphic ways of seeing and experiencing the world. Thank you. Isa?
Isa.
Hi. I'm really happy to be here as well. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm currently in Amsterdam and doing research actually about exactly this topic, about what's going on in Oroville. Maybe some of you know, but also I'm looking at a lot of engaged spirituality. So when you were discussing that, I was like, this could fit very well. This is a perfect thing to be like talking and exploring more. And what made me happy today was my fat sausage dog in Oroville was very sick the past 2 days, and today he finally started eating, and he's taking some medicine to make him better. And he's the heart and soul of our family. So I'm just really happy and relieved about that. And I'll pass it to Supriya. Have you shared already? You have shared. Who has not shared? Am I the last one?
I think I am the last one to go.
Okay, I pass it to you then.
Okay. So let's see. A few things made me smile today. I had gone to see a play, which was absolutely lovely, and I cried and I laughed throughout the entire thing. And then I was coming home. My friend was on a bike. I was on a bike with a friend. And we passed a burqa showroom, a showroom which sells burqas and niqabs and other clothes. And the name of the showroom is Modesty Forever. So that made me laugh so loud. It's still making me laugh a lot. So just that. Yeah. Lakshmi, should we start with the gratitude rounds?
Thanks, Shayantoni. So I was going to lead you into a small meditation, and then we break out into, maybe we do 2 breakout rooms. No, we've got enough people for 2 breakout rooms. So so we're going to have, this is the pace of today's workshop. We will have a lot of meditations, a lot of small sharings, and we'll get into a bit of creativity a bit down the line. And at any point you feel like you need a break or go for a walk, just write it on chat. And we have a very small group, so if you leave and there's not many people here, then that will be a bit hard. So if you want to go for like 2 minutes and come back, that's okay. Or so just feel into yourself and see what's possible for you. And of course, with every process, we would describe the process first, so whether this is okay for you to step into, or how you want to step into it. And you can witness it as well, if you don't feel like, oh, this is something I want to step into or not. Yeah. Okay. So I invite you to sit back and really find a spot that you feel relaxed in. So if you are sitting with your hand on the table, maybe move it to see, okay, is this, what is it? What's my body asking from me? And also find a spot where you feel like your weight is really going down to the earth. Like just give your weight to the floor, to the chair, to the sofa, to the whatever, however it's sitting, to the car seat. And if you have the luxury of actually lying down and listening to this, go for it. But if you want to sit, that's also fine. So I'm going to lead you. It's a guided meditation, a visualization. So you can have your eyes closed. Just make sure that you can listen to my voice. And slowly come into yourself. Take a few deep breaths just to feel that breath going into you and out. Feel how it glides in and out. And as you breathe in, feel that oxygen, energy going into your body. As it moves through you and into you, it ignites your cells and gives you energy. Just become aware of this process as you breathe in. And extend your awareness. And I invite you to extend that awareness beyond your body. The breath that comes in and then the breath that goes out that gives energy to other beings. Beyond your body, beyond all the bodies in the room that you are in. Outside, there may be trees outside or plants, grass. Extend the awareness of this breathing that's touching upon everything that's around. It weaves us into a web of life. Now I invite you to imagine this thread of breath, this air that's coming into you. Imagine it as a thread of light. This thread of light moving in and out, an interlacing current. And now you can see how it connects you to someone else, to the trees, to the grass. Experience that great multiplicity of strands that you are part of, formed by countless relationships. And it's not just air, it's also the food, it's laughter, tears, things that you've shared with others. They shape what you are. They hold you in place. Sense those interwoven threads. And I invite you to rest into them like a net. This web sustains your bones and blood and skin, made so intricately out of food you have eaten, out of the grains, the vegetables, the fruits, the nuts, the soil that yields the grain for your bread, the tree that bears fruits for you, the hands that plow, sow, reap, gather. They are all of your body now. And back through time, this web extends. Mothers, fathers, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers, giving you your coloring and your features, your gestures, your tone of voice. The web extends back through countless generations, through numberless ancestors we share, all the way back to those with gills and wings. For it is of star stuff, evolving, that we are made from in this flowing of time. We are each a jewel in this vast net that called us into being. Each of us an irreplaceable gem, sparkling with awareness, reflecting the world. sound of birds calling, the sight of a mountain rising, colors of sunrise, scent of pine and loam trees, the excitement of a new idea, the melody of a half-forgotten song. This net holds it all. There is pain too, coming in along these strands of this web. A friend with cancer, flooding in Pakistan, an oil spill coating the beach, terror in Iran. Do not shut them out. They live in this web, in this planetary time. I invite you to open to these sorrows and breathe them in, so that the channels may stay open for the flow of energy and life and change. If we block the pain, we block the joy as well. There is power in this flowing of this fluid net, love that has enriched us and love that we give. Feel the caring and love that flows through you. I invite you to open to the pulsing of this web, its murmurs, whispers, tugs. Through this vast network, all forms arose, intelligence arose. It shaped you as it shaped the mockingbird and the deep diving trout. You are of it. You are of it, even to the terrors that we have unleashed now. I invite you to open to it all, unafraid, relaxed, alert. We are the universe knowing itself. To all our brothers and sisters, we open now in this great time of hardship. We go now through a dark place, but we do not go alone. We do not go without our own timeless knowledge of the dark. We come from it. It is behind our eyes, and we will look into it together until the dark itself is clear and we come home. There is nowhere you can go where you're not held in the web that sustains us all. I invite you to stay with this. Take a few deep breaths and still sensing these connections that you may be feeling in your body, inside you and outside you. Take your time and slowly stretch your body. Start moving your body, maybe your toes, your fingers, your arms, and when you're ready, open your eyes. I can't see for the ones whose videos are off. Are you all back? Give a thumbs up so I know. So welcome back. I would love for you to hold this as we go into the breakout room. And so I'm putting some questions in the chat. I would recommend that each person takes 1.5 to 2 minutes and share whatever comes up for you when you read this question from the experience that you've had just now and also in general.
Okay, how is that for everyone? We'd just love to hear from one person from each room. Shraddha has her hearts up. One person from each room, please let us know how it was in the room.
It was wonderful, but we only managed to answer one of the questions.
Oh no. Okay. Anyone else?
I think we managed to answer all the questions, and there was this great sense of being seen and heard, and I think that was really beautiful because I think even though we don't know each other, there was this sense of knowing, and that was really beautiful.
Ayo. Oh, that's wonderful.
And I just wanted to share. I've met Supriya quite sometimes in Pune because of our work, but this is the first time I'm connecting with her in a very different way, and that was very beautiful. So yeah.
That is lovely. Sorry, Lakshmi, were you going to say something?
No, I was just feeling very happy that I was instrumental in bringing these two amazing women together in this way. So I love them both. So
Yeah. So that was us moving through the first part of the spiral, which is all about gratitude. Gratitude in the lore of work that reconnects, Joanna Macy calls gratitude a revolutionary act. And the more I understand, the more I, live my spiritual life and just try to be a better person, the more I really understand what that means. It really is revolutionary and counterculture to be grateful for what you have, exactly where you are, exactly how you have it. So that was the first part of the spiral. We will be moving into the second part where we honor our pain for the world. And the very simple reason why we have gratitude before we talk about pain is that gratitude resources us to be able to move into the dark parts of ourselves. And it's just always nice to begin on a sweet and tender note, because we know that even if it gets uncomfortable, we are resourced and we are held in this space together. Okay. Now, what I will need all of your help on something. Usually, if we were in a physical space together, then I would have a meditation bell and I would ring it after the statement, "We have forgotten who we are." And because of the bell, it would be easy for everyone else to also understand when that statement is about to be said. And they would join me. You would join me. But I don't have a bell which will be non-intrusive over Zoom. So I will simply request you that whenever I raise my hand like this, please repeat with me the sentence, "We have forgotten who we are." And just for ease, I'm also putting it in the chat. Okay. So I would request you to just take a deep breath with me, please. Now, of course, you would have to unmute yourself. Please, when I raise my hand, unmute yourself as synchronized as we can get it. We will say, "We have forgotten who we are." Okay.
We
Have forgotten
Who we are.
who we are.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, Lakshmi.
No, sorry, I just wanted to ask if everyone's comfortable saying it.
Oh, yeah, good
You
call.
all feel this? And so if you feel, join in.
Yeah, good call. If you can't, no worries at all. We have alienated ourselves from the unfolding of the cosmos. We have become estranged from the movements of the earth. We have turned our backs on the cycles of life.
We have forgotten
who we are. We have sought only our own security. We have exploited simply for our own ends. We have distorted our knowledge. We have abused our power.
We have
forgotten who we are. Now, the land is barren, and the waters are poisoned, and the air is polluted.
We have forgotten
Who we are.
Now the forests are dying, and the creatures are disappearing, and humans are despairing.
We have forgotten who we are.
We ask forgiveness. We ask for the gift of remembering. We ask for the strength to change. We
have forgotten who we are.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, what I would like for us to move into is a couple of rounds of sharing in the main room itself. We have some open sentences, and we have some prompts for open sentences, which I will paste into the chat. And perhaps because we are a compact group, what we can do is when we'll start with one person, and that person will tag another. But it's up to you. You can pick from the prompts that you have been given. You don't have to follow the prompt of the last person. You can pick from any of the prompts that are given. It would be great if everybody could participate just with their speech. No need to turn video on. And we will have a few rounds of it, so we can hear from everyone and get the opportunity to explore all 4 prompts if possible. So I'll just read the prompts out for us. What concerns me most about the world today is, when I see what's happening to the natural world, what breaks my heart is, when I see what's happening to our society, what breaks my heart is. And finally, when I think of the world that we will leave behind for our children, it looks like. Okay, I can start us off and I will tag somebody after. When I see what's happening to the natural world, what breaks my heart is, first of all, incredibly selfishly, I am heartbroken that I will never get to see the beauties of all of the world. I live in Hyderabad, and it used to be filled with rocks outside the city and near some parts of the center. But of course, because of development, most of these rocks have been destroyed. And it really breaks my heart that we will never be able to experience, well, that we are at this moment unable to experience what it really looks like when we prioritize the health of all beings, when we prioritize the health of our landscape over just over prioritizing the interests of the real estate industry. It breaks my heart that lives are lost, whether it's animal or plant life, and human life and human strength and power is very much exploited, very much exploited to create homes they will never live in, and to create a world which is becoming increasingly difficult and expensive and unfriendly to live in. This really breaks my heart. Thank you for listening.
So, what breaks my heart is our loneliness. It's human loneliness. We are killing ourselves from our loneliness in a planet full of life. This is where we've come to, and that breaks my heart. And I can feel the loneliness. I have it inside me, and I know what it feels like. And I know that it's not just me, and that is touching upon the great loneliness that we all live in. And we don't have to. And I don't know how. I can feel it. I can, and we so want to belong. We want to belong to this world. There's such a yearning for belonging. And that breaks my heart. Because it feels like it's just like, when, how? So yeah, that constantly, this is my, that brings me into the spiral of picking myself up. It always feels like this euphoria that comes from connection, not just to other humans, but to the larger body of life, and it's instant when it is there. And for me, everything I sort of have begun to see everything, the systems, the exploitation, the extraction, everything in that from that lens. So Joanna Macy calls it separation, and Arne Ness called it separation, but somehow I feel loneliness is the word that is now with me for this point, because it's a very felt sense of it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Thanks for listening.
Okay. Thank you everyone for sharing so openly and so candidly about how you feel. We will take a quick bio break and we will return. Well, it's 5 p.m. for us, but let's just say 4 minutes from now. Okay. So we are asking the room for 2 volunteers. Each person will go one after the other, and They will share a story in their life of a time where they have made a difference. The rest of the room will listen, and after each story, we will have 2 minutes. I have shared a Google Doc, and it should be editable by everybody. And the doc, there are 2 tables, person 1 and person 2. Okay, thanks, Radhika. In the doc, there are 2 tables, person 1 and person 2. After person 1 is done sharing the story, please take 2 minutes to write in what qualities you heard that person embodying in the story that they shared. And then we'll go the same round for person 2. So just to clarify, the people speaking will not write about themselves, other people will. And when person 2 shares, person 1 can write. When person 1 shares, person 2 can. That should, is that clear for everyone? Okay. Okay. If there are any questions, please let us know. So now we will ask for 2 volunteers.
So this is just to give a different perspective of how we can be witnessed. And we often do a lot, actually. A lot of us who are concerned about the world, we do a lot. And yet, end of the day, it feels like nothing at all. Yeah. And that's a trap that we fall into very often because the problem is so huge. And so sometimes it's great to see the other person's version of what, their sharing of what did they see from the story, what did they hear, how did it felt for them in that story. So I would really recommend 2 volunteers who would like to share. And we don't have much time, so I would keep it to 3 minutes. So don't make it a big story. 3 minutes could be just a small instance of something happening. And
take your time, but not too much. Isa, awesome. Okay. Person 1, I am putting down Isa. And if you are not feeling encouraged to volunteer at this time, perhaps Isa can share her story. We write about her, and then if you feel called to, please take the wheel. All right, Isa, please share with us your story.
This is a story of when you felt like you made a difference, right? Well, let's see, how do I start this story? Well, I've always really loved school, being in school and education. And when I came back from being abroad and doing university, and I came back to Oroville, to our community, I wanted to be involved in education there. And so I started teaching. And I think everyone that has any experience with education knows how like gratifying it is, how it feels. It's just a really good feeling to be with young people, I think. And I think this past year, as maybe some of you know, Oroville has been going through quite an intense moment of upheaval. The community is going through a lot. And one of the first places that was kind of like attacked was the youth center. And there was a lot of young people, myself involved, that were there at that night where there was bulldozers that came and started destroying the forest around the youth space. And then a few days later, also the buildings that had been built by youth themselves over 25 years. So that was a very big event, I think, for most people in our movement and in Oroville in general, and definitely for all the young people that were there. And I think in the months that followed, I was a teacher and with these students, and a lot of them had been involved in all of that, what had happened. And it became very clear that they didn't have the support that they needed, that they didn't have, they didn't have someone that was on their side, kind of, even in the school space. Even sometimes their parents were like, worried for them, and what wasn't really like giving them the yeah, I think that the support that they needed to experience, one, that what they were experiencing, that there was this trauma that happened, but then also feeling like they want to do something about it. So there was a lot of narratives from like the parents that were like, oh, just try to forget about it or go to school and don't think about it. And from the teachers saying like, you shouldn't be political, don't come to school with these sort of ideas, and kind of diminishing their like place in the movement. And so I, in my own way, I tried to support them and say that, no, you absolutely have the right to say what you want to say. You, of course, you should stay safe, and you have no, like, you don't need to be on the front line or anywhere, but you have a right more than almost anyone in this world to have a say about what happens with the nature of the planet, but your community, and this is your place. So you are totally at the right place. And if you need anything, I'm happy to be there. And I think it created a really strong bond between me and these other young people in Oroville. And I'm really grateful for that, because I also learned so much. I was so inspired by their dedication. And yeah, I guess for me, that's something that I'm very proud of, that I was in that position, but I'm also just really happy that I had that opportunity to like, I don't know, make space and to make sure that they felt that they had a say and that they could have a say. And I think that we still keep in contact over the phone. I actually just got a super beautiful package of gifts from some of them. And it was like so touching. Like I was even crying. I was like, oh my God, what did I do to deserve this? You know? And then I was thinking and I thought, wow, I guess, and they were even in letters, they wrote how grateful that they were that I had been there and had, so it was like, okay, I was seen, and what I had in my head was real. And basically, I felt like I really made a difference in a few people's lives by just giving them the space to be radical, revolutionary, in pain, whatever it was, but that was totally okay. So for me, that was like that made me realize 100% this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. I want to be an educator. I want to be with young people. And it's just like, that's my place. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. Now I would encourage the room just for 2 minutes. Please visit the document and put in your thoughts about what you have heard.
Rose is saying she's willing to volunteer if Lakshmi is not here.
Yeah. What do you say?
Oh, yeah.
Rosa, go for it.
All right. Quick one of the small stories that were mentioned in the beginning. When I'm chilling with my friends in the university campus, usually there's always someone who throws their cigarette butt into the lid of the canalization and not into the waste bin or just somewhere. It's the usual habit of throwing waste that I'm sure all of us know in some sort of form. And it happened over a period of 8 years, always and over again. And it's always different friends because circles change. But for me, in the beginning, I was a bit reluctant to always say something, because you can always annoy people too much with something and then they'll just be very rigid about it. So I'd only every now and then talk to someone about it when they do it, when we're just in a setting of 2 or 3 people, or I would really explain my emotions behind it, but I never made it a thing. And yeah, over the course of time, suddenly I was witnessing more and more people doing the same all over the university campus, of just going to people and being like, no, why are you doing it, and explaining their way. But it was nothing where, and it's a German university, so mind you, usually there'd be a laminated sign. It was nothing that needed a big campaign. It was just sort of trickling through, because somehow people felt connected to the way it was done. And yeah, that keeps on making me happy whenever I hear it from someone else.
Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there any other detail that you would like to provide us with about the story?
Now I feel a bit on the spot about what details I could have left out.
Sorry, I'm sorry. No.
No, I guess it's just good to know that I'm there a lot, because I'm not just going to the university campus for studying, but I'm also running a social sort of circle space there. And yeah, just it's one of the places where I spend a lot of time. So I witness a lot of time in that space as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So now I would encourage us to just spend 2 minutes writing what we heard, the qualities that we heard Rosa embody in this particular incident. Maybe I could just read out a couple of words about each person as we wrap this up. For Isa, we have vision, clarity of thought, strong values, resilience. Being young yourself, you were able to hold up other young people. Were you held? Were you allowed to be revolutionary, radical, and to share your pain? Isa, these are questions for you. And for Rosa, okay, thanks, Supriya. I'll just read out what Supriya shared about Rosa. Brave, strong to communicate the message you believed in, doing one's bit, making a difference through simple, honest effort, trusting fellow humans and understanding your perspective, creating a positive ripple effect. Thank you, Supriya. Nice. Lakshmi, did you want to say something as we wrap up this part of the spiral?
I just want to, just to bring this to our attention that sometimes we forget to share, and we forget to also do this for each other, And I think it's so important, and bringing it back to that idea that emotional resilience is a community practice. That there is a role that, as a collective, that we can play in each other's emotional resilience and how we build resilience for each other. And there are simple things that we can, if we, if you just pay attention a little bit, that actually goes a long way. So yeah, just to say that, and this is just a small example to show that this is possible. Yeah, thanks.
Wonderful. Okay, so as we are wrapping up this part of the spiral, we are coming towards the end. Lakshmi,
yeah, just to ask everyone, is it okay if we stay like 5 to 7 minutes past 5:30 time, because we're almost at time now, and we'd just like to finish the spiral before we let you go back into your lives. Yeah, and Lakshmi, we would love to hear your story. Maybe there is a way to share. We can figure that out, how we can share your story with this group. Just that we don't have time now. And I'm really glad Rosa also stepped up to share. So we are in this stage of seeing with new eyes, and it's a way of relating to the world. We are relating to us, to how we are in the collective, and also that connecting to the deeper time, what we call deep time and deep space of this world that we exist in. Because sometimes that helps to open our eyes to the trivialities of our beings, and also the expansive nature of our beings at the same time. There are several processes that helps with this, but we don't have time for any of it. So what I want to do is read a poem, and it's almost like a meditation. So I invite you to really like settle in and listen to it. It's by Alfred Lamort, who is an interfaith, what do you call them? Interfaith pastor, and also a poet. So, and it's called My ancestry DNA results just came in. So settle in, comfortable to hear my voice. My ancestry DNA results came in. Just as I suspected, my great-great-grandfather was a monarch butterfly. Much of who I am is still wriggling under a stone. I am part larva, but part hummingbird too. There is dinosaur tar in my bone marrow. My golden hair sprang out of a meadow in Palestine. Genghis Khan is my fourth cousin, but I didn't get his dimples. My loins are loaded with banyan seeds from Sri Lanka, but I descended from Ravana, not Ram. My uncle is a mastodon. There are traces of white people in my saliva. 3.7 billion years ago, I swirled in golden dust, dreaming of a planet overgrown with lingams and yonis. More recently, say 60,000 before Christ, I walked on hairy bridge. I am the bastard of the sun and the moon. I can no longer hide my heritage of raindrops and cougar scat. I am made of your grandmother's tears. You conquered rival tribesmen of your own color, chained them together, marched them naked to the coast, and sold them to colonials from Savannah. I was that brother you sold. I was the slave tender. I was the chain. Admit it. You have wings, vast and golden, like mine, like mine. You have sweat, black and salty, like mine, like mine. You have secrets silently singing in your blood, like mine, like mine. Don't pretend that the earth is not one family. Don't pretend we never hung from the same branch. Don't pretend we don't ripen on each other's breath. Don't pretend we didn't come here to forgive. Slowly take your time and come back to the circle.
Lakshmi, perhaps you could share this poem with the group via email.
Yeah, I will send a follow-up email with some of the resources that we shared today, and also his website. He's got beautiful things.
Well, that's our time for today. I mean, we packed a lot of stuff in and now we are out of time. But that was a very short glimpse of what it feels like to go through the spiral together. We covered gratitude, we covered honoring our pain for the world, we covered seeing with new and ancient eyes, and we covered going forth. I just want to check in with everyone. I hope you're feeling resourced and refreshed after our time together. If possible, if you could unmute your mic or type it into chat, maybe a couple of words about how you're feeling right now. You can type it into the chat as well. For one, I am feeling great and successful. Shraddha feels connected and relaxed. Supriya at peace, supported, encouraged, inspired, touched. Rosa, refreshed and quiet, thankful. Isa, pensive. Would anyone like to unmute themselves and share a couple of words? Okay, Lakshmi, I feel so settled within me, the sense of belonging. Sanjoli says, contemplative, calm, connected, wonderful. Okay, Lakshmi, would you like to say something as we wrap up?
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for coming today and being here. I mean, I feel great. I mean, I feel very touched and a bit like I've had a good cry. And I think I needed that. But also, I really would also like to mention that some of the women here have become family just through being in these spaces together. And I feel like, part of course, you've come for yourself, but you've also come for me. And so my heart is so feeling touched and grateful for this sisterhood, and knowing that we're holding out for the world and for ourselves and keeping us going. So yeah, I'm just sitting with that at the moment, just feeling that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm feeling, well, first of all, I hope I'm part of that family. And secondly, yeah, I'm just feeling really like that. It just feels great. It feels good to hold this space. It feels good to do this work. And I'm really excited to do more of this. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
I also, just in terms of practicalities, just would like to remind everyone that, we've touched upon each other's pain, the heaviness and all that. And it could, tonight, the next couple of days, it could come back. It could, and so be with yourself with that, Sometimes we forget we even did this, and then 2 days later you're sitting and crying and not knowing where did this come from. And it could be circumstances in your own lives, but also know that there are these things that happen because we are interconnected beings, and we take on, and all of that. So be kind to yourself. Also, please eat well. I always say this: please eat well tonight. Drink lots of water. It helps to ground. And especially, I feel that when we're online, like I would have cried several times if we were all together, just listening to each other. But online, sometimes it happens, sometimes it stops here, and so it feels, and it might come out or not. But just allow that to happen whenever it needs to happen or not. And if you feel a little bit floaty after this, go out for a walk, really place your feet on the ground, and just ground yourself, which is just let the energies go back to the earth. And in a very practical way, we do send electromagnetic signals. The energy goes in a very physical way. So if you can do that, do that. But anyway, eating well, filling your tummies, and having a good sleep also helps. That's also, if you feel called to write, to paint, to do some creative engagement with all of this, or even more, I would really encourage that. We are collecting sort of creative explorations from people at the moment after going through each of these sessions, and which will go into a gallery at the end of it. So if you feel called to, and if you want to share it with the world, very happy to take that on board. And I'm very happy to read it or see it for myself first. But yeah. Anything else anyone would like to share? And Shayantoni, of course, please do share before people leave.
I feel complete. I just want to say that, yeah, we will be doing a lot more of this. And yeah, there will be more and more spaces like this for the Indian context and the Southeast Asian context as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and also Shayantoni, thank you for coming. I reached out to her after a whole year of not being in touch and asked her to just jump in, and she did. So.
And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Great. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful evening and have a great day wherever you are. Bye.